everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Chair, and today we are going to be reviewing the album Don't Smile at Me by Billie Eilish. Before we get into the episode, please always make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the video. We all appreciate it here on the channel, and those numbers really do help us figure out what we can do to make the channel better. And at the end of the day, we just really do appreciate it. The record review, we grade each vinyl in 3 categories: the context behind the creation of the album, the songs on the track list itself, and finally, the album cover. Jumping right into the context, we meet young Billie Eilish and her older brother Phineas recording bedroom pop literally in their bedroom. This entire EP, I mean it's not a full album, it technically is an EP, was recorded entirely in their bedroom in their house. They used mattresses and blankets to create this kind of atmospheric sound. And at the same time they were doing this, Billie Eilish, by the way, was 15 years old when she made this first EP, Don't Smile at Me. And it comes out actually amazing. The production is actually a really, really good sound for someone who's literally making it, you know, in their bedroom. This isn't Abbey Road Studios like we were looking at the Beatles. This is just someone with a couple good microphones and some production equipment on their editing software, and they're able to make 8 really good songs. Like I said about Billie Eilish, she was 15 years old while making this, but her vocals are so powerful and poignant and strong for someone so young, and her lyrics are also very telling. She ended up writing most of the lyrics for all these songs. Phineas did help out with a couple tracks here and there, but mostly it was written by her, of someone, you know, going through love and loss. But overall, the theme that she said this album was about was hatred. She's quoted saying, "They're all either about like I hate you or you make me hate me." I will say the creation behind this is pretty fascinating to me. The fact that you made this in your bedroom, but this album gave you so much attention and leads you to the pop superstardom we now see Billie Eilish in now is pretty fascinating. By the way, this album, our EP, got on 14th on the Billboard 200 charts. So it gave her a lot of attention for just a small, you know, high school girl at the time. All from just a dream and a bedroom full of musical equipment. It's very inspiring, and I think her talent is obviously unmatched, as well as the talent of Phineas. Easily, this context, I would say, would get a 4 out of 5, just seeing that it's a homegrown story and it leads to so much, you know, greater things. But the music on here is already pretty great. You know, you just can't deny that it's a really, really cool story. Now, speaking of the music, on to the songs themselves. And as Billie Eilish said, this album is all about hatred, and I think she pretty much nails it on the head with all of these tracks. Copycat is pretty much hating on her haters, and I Don't Want to Be You is pretty much her hatred on her self-image and what she sees herself at. My Boy is kind of this tech poppy sound of her hatred towards relationships and all the things that have gone wrong to her in her relationships with men. And that kind of continues throughout the rest of the songs on the album, obviously with different sounds, but that message kind of does play through the rest of the tracks. I think Billie has 2 very consistent sides that we see not only on this EP, but most of her music going forward. And that is, on one side you have this crazy pop, techie sound of this obsessive, crazy lover. We see that on Watch, Bellyache, and Hostage, with just these crazy lyrics and really fun out there sounds. And then on the flip side, we kind of get this soft, sentimental side of Billie, where she's kind of showing her very, you know, true self. I feel like that's her real side, and you know, the crazy side is kind of her wall. But when you get to see that sensitive side, you really see these beautiful vocals and really see someone who's just trying to get across that, you know, where they're coming from and the problems that they have. We see that on tracks like Ocean Eyes and Party Favor. So I think it has a really good balance. And I think that she does that very well, and it continues to get better in future albums, but already on the debut, it's very, very good here. It's a very quick listen. Like I said, it's just an EP. It only has 8 tracks, but I will say I really enjoy 6 of the 8 tracks. The only 2 that I don't really enjoy is Party Favor. I feel like that's a little too bedroom pop of a production on it. I can kind of just tell it just needs a little bit more work for me to enjoy it. And then Hostage for me also doesn't do too much, especially following up Ocean Eyes, which is one of her most popular songs still today. It's pretty much the exact same theme and slow pace, but just not done as well. But overall, 6 out of 8 songs is a really, really good ratio, especially for your first crack at bat. That gives a final score in this category, a 3.75 out of 5, which once again, really, really good. And then finally, we reach the album cover. And now we see here, I think that Billie Eilish does obviously match the title of the album, Don't Smile at Me, she's not smiling on the cover. But the rest is pretty ambiguous to me. They say that this album cover is supposed to represent teen vulnerability or heartbreak and rawness and authenticness, but to me, it's just a red ladder on a yellow background. I don't think they really had too much depth going into it. And that's not really bad in any means, but I do think that, you know, in this category scoring wise, there's not a lot of context that goes into the album cover other than just it's Billie in a kind of cool artsy, you know, setting. Because of that, I'm gonna give this score a 2 out of 5 in this category. Once again, not like bad by any means, but it's just nothing adding to the story. It doesn't really relate to the title other than her not smiling. Nothing really going on there. 2 out of 5. So overall, we reach a final score of 9.75 out of 15 for Billie Eilish's first EP, which I think is an amazing debut. I mean, not many people say, you know, that they can do that well and also chart in like the top 15 on the Billboard 200 at just 15 years old. This score lands her right between Ambrosia and the White Album by the Beatles, so absolutely no bad attempt there. And a very, very good score for her EP. And of course, Billie has been able to go on and grow to make even better music. And that's what we're gonna get to next episode when we check out her follow-up full album, When We All Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go? So make sure to tune into that. Like I said earlier, like, comment, and subscribe so you can be tuned into this episode and future episodes. We really, really appreciate it. And it'll be pretty interesting to see where this album scores up against the EP, if it's any better or worse. So make sure, like I said, to tune into that. But other than that, we really appreciate you guys, and we hope to see you in the next video.